Yes. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme, Peter Joseph, here for video number 2. Video number 2. Once again, right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 669. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video. Hit that subscribe button down there inside of my goddamn pants. Otherwise known as the description box below. So you can subscribe to this channel and my other channels as well. All down below in the gobbledygook. So do it now. Because I said so. Do it now. And that's that. Leave a comment on the video if you like, but don't leave stupid comments you can send to the shadow realm where Satan will eat your soul. So please do not do that. Do it on your dead channel or somebody else's channel if you want to do that shit. You ain't gonna do it on mine because you're gonna get blocked. And if you don't like that, too bad. Go cry to your mama, little bitch. And that's that. Share the video all over the internet. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to tap and slap that bell. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because you miss anything, you need to get slapped in the face with a barbed wire bat. Because you're SOL. And you better know what that means. And if you don't know what it means, look it up. And that's that. And if you're here for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, grab that Pepsi, or whatever you got. Grab yourself a cold one, put your feet up, and enjoy the show. You like it? Great. You know, fuck off. That too. Let me move on with that. Alright, video number 2 on your Good Friday evening, April the 18th, 2025. We got a very big, huge SmackDown tonight. And it's going to be very, very hellacious. We already had the kickoff already. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre had a little altercation on the kickoff show. The kickoff to WrestleMania. We had that. We had EO basically telling Mommy Rhea Ripley, I beat you 2 times already! Or really 3 times. And basically telling Bianca, you know, I'm going to beat both of you and I'm going to hopefully remain the Raw Women's Champion. We had that. I didn't see all of the kickoff show. I only saw those 2 parts. But should be a very interesting SmackDown tonight. We got the Street Profits defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, and Chris Sabin. We'll see what happens with that. If Los Lobos get involved, or the Yes Boys, or even DIY. Before we get that, probably more with Charlotte Flair and Tiffy Time, Daddy. We'll see what happens with that situation. Punk's in the building. Roman's in the building. Seth freaking Rollins in the building. All hands on deck tonight on SmackDown. And then we got the Hall of Fame later tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. So if you want to watch that, go ahead. I may or may not watch it. We'll see what happens with that, depending on how tired I get after SmackDown. But we'll see what happens with that. And a whole lot more. So, should be a great SmackDown tonight before Mania. And, we're pretty much under 23 hours away from WrestleMania Night 1, which will open with Jey Uso, the Yeet Man, taking on Walter for the World Heavyweight title. And we all know what will end Night 1. It'll be CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins, and our Tribal Chief. Put your ones up in the comments for our Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. And we'll see what Paul Heyman allegiance is to. He's going to be coming out with Punk anyway. But what happens at the end of Night 1? Does he stay with Punk? Does he go back with our Tribal Chief? Not that he wants him. Or does he do the unthinkable and side with Seth freaking Rollins? And possibly The Rock. And John Cena. But we'll see what happens with that. at the end of night 1. We also got NXT Stand and Deliver at 1 p.m. So, getting, under 24 hours with that. About 16 to 18 hours away from about 16 hours away from NXT Stand and Deliver to open up WrestleMania weekend in Vegas. And then we got night 2, which will open with EO defending her title against Mommy Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, and will close with John Cena in his WrestleMania bye-bye, going after the unified title against Cody, MDK Cody, you bitch, for the undisputed title, and that's that. So we got a lot to talk about between now and Sunday night, and that's that. Then we start the Raw and SmackDown after Mania on the road to Backlash, and then we got that. So 3 weeks away from Backlash, and then 2 weeks after that is Saturday night's main event on the 24th, and then I think on the 25th we got NXT Battleground, and going head to head with AEW Double or Nothing, and 2 weeks from tonight, Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 19, and also next Sunday, TNA Rebellion pay-per-view. Lots of fucking wrestling coming up in pretty much the next month. So stay tuned. Please hit that bell and stay with me through all of the reviews coming your way as best I can. And that's that. Alright, before we get to SmackDown coming up at the top of the hour in about 20 a little about a half hour from now, let's get to your very quick and out-of-date AEW Collision Spring Breakthru Night 2 review. And we get that from last night, April the 17th, 2025. Once again, we are live from the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston, Massachusetts. And our commentary team, our normal Collision commentary team of Tony Baloney Schiavone, or Tony Schiavone for you people that love Jericho, and the man from England, the great man that he is, Nigel McGuinness, me love. Alright, special live edition of Collision on a Thursday night, because the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs are starting next Saturday night. We get a late start for Collision, will be taped, but it's going to start after the NBA playoffs. So, probably between, I would say between, probably by 10, between 10 and 12, somewhere in that area. But check your local listings for time and for the start time. But like I said, it's going to be after the playoffs. So I don't know if there's a 7:30 game, or 7:30 game, or 8 o'clock game with the NBA playoffs, and then we'll go from there. For the next month, we're going to be, Collision's going to be pretty much, you have to, on different days and different times. So, it might be at 6:30, might be at 3:30, who knows when it's going to be on. So, check your local listings and watch Dynamite. That's it. And we got that. Alright, so we start off Collision, which was great. Not like Dynamite. Dynamite was great. Collision was good, but not great like Dynamite was on Wednesday night. But we open up with Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting on a Thursday. Okay, we got a big recap of Dynamite, and we have Nigel McGuinness and Tony Baloney on the stage, breaking down the card, talking about Dynamite, and then out of nowhere, some production worker comes out, gets thrown out to the stage. Then we see Marina Shafir, the problem solver. I think it was a woman production worker. I couldn't tell, but sends his Hammernager all the way down the ramp. And then the rest of the Death Riders come out. Claudio, Cassino de Suisse, William Utah, and the AEW World Champ, John Moxley. They come out, they start wrecking things, they're throwing chairs, they're going berserk, and after they lost the Trios titles to the Ops, that's Powerhouse, Will Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Kazuchika Shibata, because Hook was injured. He has some concussions, so they took him out of the match, put in Will Hobbs. They beat Moxley, William Yuta, and Claudio, because Pac was injured with his ankle. So the Death Riders are pissed, and rightfully so. Moxley gets in the ring, says everyone who is celebrating Dynamite, enjoy it while you can. And then he talks about the Young Bucks. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, who came back at Dynasty, and then they did what they did on Dynamite on Wednesday night, got involved, and they got beat up by Swerve and Prince Nana. So Moxley officially doesn't like the Bucks, threatens their future if they cross his path again. And that brings him to Samoa Joe, who he respected. Well, he thought he's always respected, but Joe started something that Moxley now has to finish. So Moxley challenges Joe for a world title shot. When? Don't know. And then for now, the Death Riders leave in a huff. So they are pissed because they don't have the Trios titles anymore, and they might not have the world title by the time we get to Double or Nothing, but we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so I gave that 3.25 out of 5 stars. We're off and running on Collision. Alright, then we run down the card. We get to match number 1. Excuse me. Alright, so we get to Kevin Knight versus Lance Archer. Everybody dies! Comes out with Don Callis. And this match should have been a squash match, per se, but this match went almost 12 minutes. Back and forth match they went, Kevin doing his all and staying in the match, but then we get near the end, a super Hurricane Rana brings Lance Archer out of the corner, and a big splash for a near fall. Then another buckle bomb into a choke slam by Lance Archer for a near fall on Kevin Knight. And then Lance Archer goes for old school, thinking he's the Undertaker. You're not. And Kevin Knight broke it up. He has a diving clothesline to the floor. Then a slingshot clothesline in the ring. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. A surprising victory for the young upstart Kevin Knight. Gets the win. Match gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. Lance Archer is pissed. And Don Callis is wondering, well, he's trying to pull out the hair that's not on his head. Because he's bald. Kind of like Ricochet, but that's another story for another time. Alright, speaking of the Ops, we see them cut a promo after Dynamite. They're still serious. And they're happy with winning the Trios titles. And they say there's more to come. We'll see what happens with that. Alright, 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Then we go to the back. We have Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter. They're going to be fighting on Dynamite in the semifinals, and the winner of that faces Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing to see who faces the Women's World Champion at All In, whether it be Toni Storm or somebody else. So they're in the back, and they offer respect to each other, but they're ready to face off in the Women's Owen Hart tournament in the semifinals. So, no chicanery, nothing happened out of that. Just 2 women who respect each other. You gotta like that. So, 2.25 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we go to the commentary table where Tony Baloney reads a apology letter that FTR sent them, Dax Harwood, and Cash Got a Clock Wheeler, after what happened last week on Collision when Tony Baloney almost got his life cut short. You know, if it wasn't for Nigel McGuinness, he would have been put in the hospital or worse. So they apologized to Tony Baloney and Nigel, though Tony Baloney needed to be scared a little bit, and didn't want to hurt Nigel as his body and mind are fragile. So Nigel reluctantly apologizes, and Tony Baloney's like, whatever. He doesn't give two fucks. And that's that. Alright, we get that. Alright, then we're going to look at the newest member of the AEW roster, Josh Alexander, joining the Don Callis family as he turned on Hangman Adam Page in that match in the Owen Hart Cup, where he was the wild card. Hangman won the match to go on to face Fletcher, and then Fletcher took the Hangman out with a Blame Buster. So we get that. So Josh Alexander, I guess it makes his Collision debut, teaming with Kensuke Takeshita, taking on Rocky Romero, and Tomohiro Ishii. That's not Ishii, it's Ishii, not Ishii, it's Ishii. And Rocky and Ishii have had a little bit of problems lately, as we saw on Ring of Honor TV last night, where Ishii clotheslined Rocky Romero by accident, and that led to Top Flight beating them. So we get that. Pretty good match. Went almost 10.5 minutes. And once again, Ishii accidentally hits Rocky Romero. And that led to Josh Alexander and the Catch Stud hit stereo discus forearms on Ishii to take him out. Then a big-time powerbomb by Josh Alexander gets him the win on Rocky Romero. So the Don Callis family get the win over Rocky Romero and Ishii. And that's that. 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. After the match, Ishii and Rocky Romero still arguing, and then they get into a big old fight. And then some guy in a black hoodie, the ever-popular black hoodie made famous by the Bloodline, the Roman Reigns Bloodline, he comes in, we don't know who he is, he takes Ishii out, and he pulls back the hood, and it's Trent Beretta, so we have a little bit of a Roppongi Vice essay reunion, and then Trent pulls out a monkey wrench, big, huge monkey wrench, and lays Ishii out again with it. So Trent's back in the Don Callis family. So now the Don Callis family has extended with Josh Alexander and Trent Beretta coming back and adding Rocky Romero. And then Brian Cage, who is out with a knee injury, he just got knee surgery, so he's going to be out for a few months. So, don't know what's going to happen with Brian Cage, if and when he comes back. So, we got all that. So, Rocky Romero turns heel and joins up with the Don Callis family. Not that he needed to join, but okay. We got that. Alright, then we got Lexi Nair in the back with our CEO, Mercedes Moné, who's all excited to be in Boston! So excited to be there, and then Honey Cameron and her puppet come in, and Mercedes gets annoyed with that. It's like, I'm talking to a fucking puppet, and then she's like, you better not get in my way in our tag team match later, as Harley and Mercedes team up again to take on Julia Hart and Chris Statlander in the main event. So we got that. So we'll see what happens with that. 2.25 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we have Megan Bayne, the Megasus, beat Rebecca Scott and Ashley Vox. Remember her from TNA? Some of you do, some of you don't. Penelope Ford at ringside. And in 75 seconds, Megan Bayne wins another squash match with Fate's Descent on the both of them, and then she pins both of them, and that's it. Bing, bang, boom, good night. We move on. Alright, then we get a video for the 5-tool player, Anthony Bowens. So we get that. Very nice. Alright, then it's time for the TNT title open challenge. We have my good friend and yours, Chugs, otherwise known as Adam Cole, baby! So he's just an open challenge to... Well, we hear the music of the Death Riders. I'm like, oh no, he gave one to William Yuta? No! No, it's not William Yuta, thank the Lord. It's Claudio Castagnoli, the Swiss. So we got the Swiss versus Chugs, and not playing video games. So we get that. So this was a great match. Claudio beating the crap out of Adam Cole for a while. Gets him in the swing of doom. Cole using his speed. Come back. We get the collateral damage onto the knee. Get back up. Like I said, Claudio gets the swing on Adam Cole. Locks him in the crossface, followed by Swiss Death for a near fall. And then Claudio unloads with some Tiger uppercuts in the corner and a top rope superplex for a 1 count. As Cole got all mad, and then he reversed some type of move that Claudio, I think it was Claudio was going for a power, I think the Ricola bomb or something, and then Adam Cole, baby, reversed it into a crucifix, 1, 2, 3 to retain the title in over 15 minutes. So Adam Cole, baby, gets the win in a match. I gave 3 out of 5 stars. After the match, Claudio goes berserk. And then takes a chair and he kind of threw it. It hit the top of the announce table and I think it hit Nigel in the leg. And Nigel's like, ah! And then Moxley, Marina Shafir, and William Yuta had to come out and say, hey, calm down! And then Claudio just basically, they all leave the ringside area. And then we see Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly come out to kind of help Adam Cole to the back. But still, Adam Cole went to war with his good buddy Claudio Castagnoli, but is still, thankfully, our TNT champion. And we'll see what happens with him next week on the program. And that's that. So, match was great, 3 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Alright, then we're going to recap of Chris Jericho walking out on Big Cass and Brian Keith last week, saying he was disappointed in himself and with Brian Keith and Big Cass, and he takes out Floyd the Bat, smacks the Jeritron 9000 to bits, just to write him off TV, because he's on tour with Fozzy right now, and they're touring with Liliac, so go see him, tell Jericho I said hello, and the lovely people in Liliac, tell them I said hello, because they love me. That's all I gotta say about that. So then we go to the back, I think with Renee Paquette, with Big Cass and Brian Keith, and they're disappointed in Jericho. Well, Cass is disappointed in Jericho, but Brian Keith tells Big Cass to keep it private, which they really don't, and they want to handle it like family, because that's what families do, but Big Cass not happy about that, so who knows what's going to happen there. And we move on with that. Alright, so I get that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, back to the Tony Khan special we go. We got La Facción Ignorable, that's LFI, that's Bruce, Jalistico, and the Beast, Mortos. Basically beat the ever-living shit out of Kevin Matthews, Rosario Guido, and Leo St. Giovanni. Beat him in under 2 minutes. Complete destruction. And they get the win as Bruce hits the bull's hunt. You mess with the bull, you get the horns, I say. So he hits him with that. Bing, bang, boom. Good night. 2 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we have Renee Paquette. In the back, she walks up to Kevin Knight, who's all happy with his shocking win over Lance Archer. So he's happy with the win, but not so much with the Don Callis family. And then Speedball Mike Bailey comes in, congratulates him. And then Ricochet comes in, I don't know what the fuck he was wearing. He basically tells Kevin Knight not to mess with the chain of command. Though Kevin Knight says, I respect you for what you have done. You have a hot wife. But, I got something you don't have. And he's got, I got a nice set of hair and you don't. And then Speedball Mike Bailey does this, and Renee Paquette, leaves. He goes, flips her hair, And I was laughing up a storm. That was funny. And they tease a fight, and then Mike Bailey says, "We'll do this later." So, probably sometime, maybe next week, we get Kevin Knight and Ricochet, or people Mike Bailey and Ricochet. I think that'd be great. But we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that one. And then we move on. Alright, then we go to Nick fucking Wayne. I mentioned this on my Ring of Honor review. Nick fucking Wayne beats Commander to become the new Ring of Honor television champion. As he comes in, and Commander goes for a Cielito Lindo, and Nick Wayne got his boots up, hits a Fisherman's Buster, 1, 2, 3. He becomes the new Ring of Honor TV champion. His mom was at ringside. She got a little bit mocked, like, your mom's hot, something like that. Because Nick Wayne's mom's got it going on, as we all know. Kip Sabian in the back, they were applauding, and then Christian applauding, and then he leaves. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. But Nick Wayne gets the win. He is the new Ring of Honor TV champ. We'll see what happens with him as we go to Supercard of Honor. Might get a rematch with Commander. We'll see what happens with that. So 3.5. 3.5 out of 5 stars for that match. And we move on with that. Alright, then we get a video for Hologram. Okay, he's coming back next week. We don't care. We get that. Alright, then we go to the back, Top Flight. Darius and Dante Martin with the lovely Layla Gray. Oh my. They're in the back, and they're ready to fight the Crew. That's Action Andretti and Leo Rush next week in a Tornado Tag Team match. And then we see the Crew come in. Security has to break it all up. And that's that. And we move on with that. Alright. Alright, then we go to your main event of Collision, a women's tag team match. We have Timeless Toni Storm. Darling! Bosom. And remember, when Toni Storm comes out, chin up, tits out. Watch for the shoe! Alright, she comes out with Luther. And, sits next to Tony Schiavone and Nigel. Gives Nigel a little smoochy smooch on the cheek. And then she goes to Tony Schiavone and gives him a kiss on the lips. Hey now. I was thinking Luther would give him a kiss. But Tony Baloney's weird. Well, anyway. So we get that. So we got Chris Statlander and the lovely Julia Hart teaming up against Mercedes Moné and Holly Cameron. We get that. Pretty good match. Back and forth they went. We're going to get near the end of the match. And Mercedes hits the Eddie Guerrero Ese Three Amigos, which Eddie loved, on Statlander. Goes for a fourth one. Statlander blocks it and hits double suplexes. She hits the Three Amigos in a double suplex fashion. You like that, Eddie? Oh, that was great! Ese Pero. Eddie loved it too. Alright, so we get the Three Amigos on Statlander. On Mercedes and Harley at the same time. That was pretty impressive. Just to show off. And then Mercedes and Harley wind up on top of each other. So then Julia Hart with a moonsault on the both of them. And then all four women on the ring. Julia Hart is up first. And then Toni Storm goes, "That is one spooky bitch." She's creepy. For a moonsault, Mercedes Moné gets her boots up, and then Chris Statlander muscles Mercedes up, but Harley tags herself in. Think that was a bad idea, which allowed Chris Statlander to hit a tilt-a-roll backbreaker on Harley. Then she hits Haterade on Harley to get the win, so that might piss off Jamie Hayter as we go into Wednesday night's match in the Hole in the Heart Cup semis. So Chris Statlander hits Haterade on Harley 1, 2, 3 in 11 minutes to get the win. Match gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that ends Collision. So Collision wasn't a bad show, per se. So I'm going to give a solid 7 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you motherfuckers thought of the show in a comment down below. And that's it. Make sure you like the video. Please hit that subscribe button on this channel and my other channels as well. Show your love and support. Follow me on social media. I will be live tweeting with SmackDown tonight. So we're about 5 minutes away from SmackDown on the USA Network and Netflix. And we got that. So follow me on my Twitter page. Twitter link is down below. You can follow me and all that good shit. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram. But if you're a troll, bye-bye, you're blocked. Go fuck yourself. Don't forget to hit that bell and turn on all notifications so you get the next videos coming your way this weekend. Lots of videos coming. Collision coming maybe later tonight with SmackDown. Maybe early tomorrow with your, and also we'll talk about Mania, my predictions for WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. So we'll do that before, we'll try to do that before WrestleMania comes your way tomorrow night. And then we'll do the WrestleMania review on Monday, Sunday, early Sunday afternoon before I go out for my Easter festivities. I will do my NXT Stunned and Deliver review. We'll talk about it. Like Chick Willie would say, we'll talk about it and be about it. And that's it for the weekend. And we got that. Alright, the Mets are in action against the Cardinals. Game 2 of that 4-game series in Citi Field. David Peterson on the mound for the Mets, and the Cardinals have now taken a 1-0 lead on Pedro Paez gets a single to score the run. So it's 1-0. Let me just update it real quick on the MLB app. Oh yeah, so it's 1-0 Cardinals, top of the 4th inning. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so the Cardinals scored in the top of the 2nd inning. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, Mets are 1 game up on the Phillies for first place going into the weekend. See how that goes. With that, the Yankees, let's see what the Yankees are doing. Phillies up 6-0. Oh boy. Facing the Fish, the Marlins, in the bottom of the 4th inning. So, if everything holds up right as it is right now, the Mets will be back into a tie for first place with the Phillies. That sucks. Yankees are up 1-0, top of the 4th inning. And that's it. Like I said, the Mets are 12-7, up by 1 game over the Phillies and Braves. And JD and his Braves sitting in last place, 6.5 back, 5-13. I think the worst team in baseball. Actually, take that back. It's Colorado is 3-15, the worst team in baseball. Yikes. And the Yankees are in first place by a game over the Toronto Blue Jays and 2.5 over Boston. So, we got that. So, both New York teams are 12-7 right now, going into the Easter weekend. And we'll see what happens later tonight with the Mets and the Skankies. And right now it's 2-0 Cardinals. As Jordan Walker singled to score. Yeah, he singled on a ground ball to right field, which was deflected by Pete Alonso. Ben Donovan scores. So it is 2-0 Cardinals, man on first with 1 out, top of the 4th inning. So Mets got to come back and win, or they're going to be pretty much in a deadlock for first place once again. So they did have a 2-game lead on the Phillies back on Wednesday. Well, back on Tuesday, I should say, but they lost the last 2 games to the Twins, and so that lead got cut to 1 because the Phillies lost on Wednesday, but they won yesterday against the Fish to make it, so it stayed at 1, but now, like I said, the Marlins are up. I mean, the Filthies are up 6-0. Mets are down 2-0. So we'll see what happens with that. And later tonight. And that's that. Alright, SmackDown's about to start. Harry Potter is going off the air. SmackDown before Mania is about to be live and in living color. So we'll get to that. So I am out of here, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks for watching my AEW Collision review. Once again, 7 out of 10 stars for Collision. Let me know what you guys think down below. And that's that. Alright, I'll be back probably after SmackDown with your NXT review. Really quick NXT review. And then we'll talk about SmackDown sometime tomorrow. Maybe before we get to Stand and Deliver or after Stand and Deliver. And then we'll talk about WrestleMania predictions, and then we'll watch WrestleMania live tomorrow for night 1. So, WrestleMania 41, 23 hours away. So, we're counting down those minutes, hours, and seconds till the greatest pay-per-view of all time next to Wrestle Kingdom, and that's WrestleMania 41. Alright, I'm going to watch SmackDown. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, peace!